What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another conversation. I've been looking forward to this one because, if I'm honest, this conversation is personal. It's one I've had with myself more times than I like to really admit. One of the reasons I started this YouTube channel was because I wanted a place where I could simply have conversations. Not conversations where I pretend I have all the answers, because I don't. Not conversations where I act like I've arrived, because I haven't. I wanted a place where I could share my experiences, my thoughts, the lessons I've learned, and sometimes even the conversations I've had with myself. And believe me, I have those conversations more than I like to admit. So today, I want to invite you into one of them. My hope is simple. If one person watches this video and it helps them moving forward, then turning this camera on today was worth it. So let me ask you something. When something goes wrong in your life, who do you blame first? I want you to really think about that. When life doesn't go according to plan, when you lose an opportunity, when a relationship ends, when someone questions your character, when people begin looking at you differently, when you feel everything you've worked for is simply slipping away, who do you blame? For me, it was always me. I blame myself. Sometimes I deserved to. Sometimes I didn't. But regardless, I carried the weight. And over time, I realized something. The hardest conversations I was having weren't with other people. They were with myself. I find myself asking questions like, maybe, just maybe, I'm the problem. Maybe people are right. Maybe this is all anyone will ever remember about me. Those conversations are exhausting. And if you've ever been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Something I realize is that we don't talk enough about what difficult seasons do to us mentally. People see someone lose a job. People see someone go through a divorce. People hear a rumor. People form opinions. People watch someone trying to rebuild. But what they don't see is the battle taking place in that person's mind. They don't hear the conversations happening when nobody else is around. The self-doubt, the guilt, the regret, the fear, the wondering if you'll ever become more than what happened to you. I've been there. And if I'm honest, sometimes I'm still there. The difference now is that I've learned not to stay there, not to stay in that place. Because here's what I've come to understand. One chapter is not the entire book. But if you're not careful, you'll convince yourself that it is. And here's something else I've been thinking about. We all have chapters we're not proud of. Every single one of us. We've made mistakes. We've all failed. We've all disappointed someone. We've all disappointed ourselves. The only difference is some people's chapters become public and some never do. Think about that. Every person you meet has a story. Every person has something they wish they could go back and change. Every person has moments they hope nobody ever finds out about. Yet somehow, we're quick to judge someone else's public chapter, while quietly hoping no one discovers our private ones. That thought has challenged me. Not because accountability doesn't matter, because it does. Truth matters. Character matters. Integrity matters. But so does grace. And I think we've forgotten that sometimes. I spent over 25 years coaching athletes, leading teams, and helping people pursue excellence. During that time, I've learned something that has nothing to do with a weight room. People don't just need accountability. People need someone who believes they can become more than the worst thing that's ever happened to them. Because if all we ever do is remind people where they failed, how will they ever believe they're capable of growing? That's one of the reasons I continue to do what I do. Not because life has been perfect, not because I have everything figured out. The truth is, I'm still going through things. I'm still learning. I'm still rebuilding areas of my own life. But every morning I wake up, I have a choice. I can become bitter or I can become better. I can allow difficult seasons to make me cynical, or I can allow them to make me compassionate. I can spend my life judging people, or I can spend my life helping people. I've already made my decision. I'm going to continue teaching. I'm going to continue coaching. I'm going to continue serving. I'm going to continue encouraging people. Because I believe that's who God created me to be. Not someone who points fingers, but someone who reaches out a hand. Someone who says, I see you. I see your struggle. I see your hurt. I see your potential. And I want you to know something. Your story isn't over. And fellas, if I can say one thing specifically to the men watching this, we've got to get better at having conversations like this. Too many of us suffer in silence. We're taught to figure it out. I know. To keep everything inside. To never let anyone know we're struggling. But carrying everything alone isn't strength. Sometimes real strength is being honest enough to admit, I'm not okay. Not okay, dog. I'm trying to rebuild. I'm trying to become better. There's strength in that. There's courage in that. And if you're watching this today, I don't know what chapter you're living in. I don't know what people have said about you. I don't know what you've been saying to yourself. But I want you to hear this from me. You are more than your hardest season. You're more than your biggest mistake. You're more than someone else's opinion. You're more than someone else's perception. So keep growing. Keep learning. Keep becoming. And whatever you do, don't quit. Because one day, the very chapter you're trying so hard to get through may become the chapter that gives someone else the courage to keep going. I'm Dr. Tredell Dorsey. Thank you for allowing me to share one of the conversations I've been having with myself. If this conversation meant something to you, I'd love for you to join this community by subscribing. Share it with someone who may need it today, because you never know who needs to be reminded that their story isn't over. Until next time, God bless you and keep becoming the person you were created to be.